Welcome guys, as we bring you to a new League Starter build, which is an EarthShatter. This is to be a quite relatively decent tanky build, which you will be able to focus quite nicely on raid maps all the way to about tier 12 without dying much. You will also be able to complete some of the endgame bosses such as the Searing on Zelts. So as we can see, we try to max our 3 elemental resistance, and we also try to make sure that our chaos resistance is not negative, as there seems to be more chaos damage this league. 3.18 Sentinel. Armor is also pretty decent, as it's now easier to increase way more than 20k due to the auras that you can have, particularly in the Defiance banner. Together with the Determination, as you can see, they both grant a percent increase in armor. We also run a small life regen aura, so this will help to mitigate at least a bit or some of the damage over time, together with the life regen from the items itself. And lastly, we will have an aura of purity just to increase the damage just a little bit here and there. Then in order to play around with the spikes and everything, we will have our 3 war cries, so we will run them in rotation. Your ancestral cry, intimidating cry, and of course your enduring cry. So we'll rotate around these 3 cries every time we have hit 3 times in total, so collecting over 15 spikes. So now we'll go on to our passive tree. As you can see, the first thing that we'll cover is we'll first be able to path all the way to Resolute Technique. So I mean, since it's a league starter, we won't really be dealing any critical strikes, nor will we be going a critical build. Some of the important notes to have or hit also is we'll be doing the Corrupted Blood cannot be inflicted on you. This is relatively quite a near path to the starting tree, and it's quite a good note to hit. We also have some of the Leech builds. Leech, as you can see from here, we just buff it over here. We have a little boost of our war cries since we'll be using them more often, and since we are doing quite a multiple number of war cries, you can see we also have a 20% increased damage for each time we war cry recently, so this can be quite intriguing. This is more of quality of life to ensure we still have a bit more mana and to help to increase our efficiency. And one of the important notes that we also have is the mace. Since we are using mace, we are be able to work on the mace mastery, so we have the all damage on mace actually inflict chill. So this is one of the wonderful notes that we always must have, so this actually helps quite a lot. And we can see that actually nowadays Caster Jewels is actually quite cheap, so we managed to get these all under less than 100 chaos, so it's relatively quite good and you can get it quite early on. So one of the things that we can normally juggle is we try to get, since we place quite relatively defensive over here we can go ahead with some of the more damage notes. So you can see where we have Feed the Fury. This is mostly just to increase damage while leeching because of the ascendery we have, which I'll showcase later. We also have Heavy Hitter just to increase our damage. Then we also have Fuel the Fight. Since we have the leech not affected or disappear upon even reaching the full health, we can make use of all these 3 nodes. Then we'll have some of the medium cluster that also helps to increase the war cry damage. And then the last one is the small jewels. We can just measure anything that actually increases physical damage or increase your armor. So these are all the notes, relatively quite a simple build. For the ascendery, we'll be going for Slayer. One of the reasons why we are going for Slayer is because of the notes in the Brutal Fever and Endless Hunger. This is very good because one of the good things is the life leech effects are not removed, so this actually works hand in hand together with the Endless Hunger, so you won't be affected by bleeding, which seems to happen quite a lot in this league. Just for then the rest of it is actually the Bane of Legend. This is also quite useful, so in the maps you don't really have to worry any of the mods having any reflect of any form, be it elemental or physical, since we are immune to reflected physical damage and we don't have any elemental damage. This allows us to run a lot more map mobs, so we don't have to worry about it. And also there's Headsman, so this is just as we just use this mainly for free Cowling Strike, so there's nothing much more to it. And now we'll just showcase to you a little bit more about the map scaling and how we run a bit throughout the map.